Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Wherever you are in the world, welcome. We are so happy to have you here at USA Global TV and Radio. My name is Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is the Film and Music Show. And we've been having so much fun. I can hardly contain myself on the show. A lot of it has to do with my co-host, Madalene Chan, and our fabulous guests. Before I bring out Madalene and I bring out Dr. Miluna, I do want to play a clip. And this is an introduction to my co-host and friend. And she has really taught me so much. So let's take a look, and then we'll be right back.
By your love, what you giving me is just not enough. I need a love to take me higher and higher and higher. Every step I take, I feel more awake. Getting closer now, I feel so alive. Stopping me, this is how I live. Ever closer now. Just follow love. Love will take you there. Just follow love. Follow me. Just follow love. Love will take you there. Just follow love. Follow me. Follow love.
Yes, follow love. I love it.
You know what? That just leaves the vibrations, because I was having kind of like a really weird day today, technically and everything. But honestly, just hearing that song, the vibrations just totally lifted. So thank you.
Thank you. And hello to our friend, Mr. Roland Friedel, in his RV traveling through Europe.
Wow. Hey, Roland.
So, Madalene, you've accomplished so much, and you've helped me. For those who are not aware, Madalene is my vocal coach. And in addition, I asked her if, I can't even believe she said yes, if we could co-write and co-perform a song together, and we're doing it.
Yes, we are. We are. We did the first one last week, didn't we? Oh my gosh, it's so super exciting. Super exciting.
It's sure. And so I want people to take away from that you just have to ask. If you don't ask and you don't put yourself out there, you're never going to know.
That is so true. It's a big lesson in life, that is.
Absolutely. We've got a great guest backstage. Her name is Dr. Miluna, and she has joined us, I think, twice before. She has a career that is really amazing. She's got some experience in the film and music industry, and she's also an author, and she's an executive communication coach, and she knows the power of up-leveling your communication so that you can show up in the best way possible, whether you're on a stage performing or you're at home with your loved ones. So let's welcome her to the show. Welcome, Dr. Miluna.
Dr. Miluna.
Thank you. Wow. What a song. The vibrato. Thank you.
Amazing. I know Madalene has so much incredible energy, and she does a lot of work helping people move from a 3D world to a 5D world. And Dr. Miluna, you do a lot of work with people, whether it's individuals, corporations, leaders, in helping them to up level their communication. And you have a book by the same name. So I'd love for you to share, what does that actually mean?
It means that I believe we're designed to fully express. And as both of you would know, and some of our listeners might know, if I whisper for a long period of time, it's actually very stressful to my vocal folds. So, what does that say to me? We're designed to express. And some of us, I was taught as a little girl, be seen and not heard. Nobody wants to hear from you. So, can you imagine that my whole life has been finding my own voice? And then I realized that's my job with others as well. So, most of my folks are executives, business owners, or leaders. And if we're not expressing, and Dr. JACALYN, as you said, if you don't ask for what you want, meaning for women, we don't ask for the raise, we don't ask for what we really want, we're not taught that that's okay. We need to stop that. It's more than okay.
I absolutely agree with you, Dr. Miluna. Very much so. Very well said. Very well said.
Dr. Miluna, what I would love to have us discuss a little bit about today, because we've had you on other shows, and this one's film and music. And as we know, your voice is so important as a creative. And so many people across the world are so talented and they're making so much impact, but they're not being recognized either financially or in other ways to really celebrate their work. How do they up level their voice, their communication, to get that acknowledgement they have earned and deserve?
Oh, what a great question. We really must find our voice, what is true to us, what the full expression is. Pardon me, I think we want to make the most of what we were given. So, for example, I wish I were a screaming rock star voice, but I'm really not. I started in opera and Broadway and jazz. That's more my style, some blues thrown in, but I don't really have the vocal stamina to be a screaming rock star. Therefore, if I'm always pursuing something I'm really not wired to do, or it's not really the sensibility that I have, then that would be an error. And so I want to encourage us to first make peace with our voice, because, of course, we don't hear our voice as others. When we hear ourselves recorded, that is how other people experience us. So get to a place of making peace. What do you love about your voice now? And then how can we build that? So we need to record audio, video, write poems, write songs, write our business plan, write our marketing. It needs to be in our own voice. And then we can hire people and help other people amplify our voice out there in the world.
I love that.
I do as well. I love the key points there. The fact that, you know, you amplify your voice, and it's got to be your voice. It has to be your voice, and you amplify. I love it. I love it.
I also love a takeaway. When I hear my voice come on, when it just starts playing, I'm like, oh, shut up. I can't stand my voice. And we have to come to terms with it, because it's not exactly what it's not as bad, or I don't want to judge, but it's not what we think it is. But yet when we hear it, I'm not saying everyone, I'm just saying me, for example, it's kind of like, who wants to listen to this?
It's true. We want to remove the judgment, because we all have it. You'll hear even Barbara Streisand and folks who, I mean, come on, how much of an incredible instrument do we need to have before we understand? So first, let's make peace. Let's just witness and observe, not judge. Understand that you've got your vocal coach here. I've had a million vocal coaches. Get help, because you can build and develop. So if we're too nasal or we're too high pitched and we're not being taken seriously in the executive world, help is available. Just like I work out my body, I work out my voice.
Yeah.
It is a muscle and a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing to be developed. that's when we begin to speak up true to us and ask for that job, ask for that raise. As you said, Dr. JACALYN and Madeline, ask for what you want. Women, they lie, actually. We're not taught to ask for what you want. Don't you dare turn down. I'm going to wag my finger. Don't you dare turn down. Ask for what you really want. Don't lie and, oh, I don't really want that. Yes, you do. You know in your heart and your soul, well, that's what you want. How can you have that dream if it's too big for you?
Yeah.
How would you even know that if it's not your dream?
Yes.
So true.
So well empowering. Said. So empowering, Dr. Miluna.
Thank you.
Very much so. Yeah.
What have you found, Dr. Miluna, in the work that you've done with people that is keeping them silent or keeping them small or keeping them invisible, that they're not asking for what they want?
It's interesting because when I used to coach actors and singers, it was somehow the fear of being seen and heard. And certainly I can relate. As I mentioned, I was conditionally loved, is what I always felt. Be quiet, sit there like a lady. Holy crap. I've had to break out of that little teeny conservative, religious, good girl box. And especially for women and some cultures, you're taught to be quiet, especially if you're a woman. So we've got to allow enough love to be in the spotlight, to be natural in an unnatural situation. And it's the same with my executives. When we're in the spotlight or we're on camera, where we freeze, we have stage fright. I had huge stage fright, easy for me to say, that I had to work through. And so executives are afraid to speak the truth. They're afraid to be fired. They're afraid of repercussions. And I'm saying, well, maybe that could happen. But what happens if you don't right the wrong? And if you don't speak up for what needs to happen, you'll never know. And when we get fired, which I have been, a door better for you will open, or a window over here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's so true. But yet we hold on so strong and so tight with that fear. And when you are fired or something does happen where you have to change course, it requires work. And many times people are like, oh, I don't want to do the work. I've been working all this time. I don't want to reinvent myself. But that's where the opportunity is. That's at least what I found.
Yeah. And also, can I just add that the fact that if you don't speak up, then you're going to be living somebody else's life, and you're never going to be able to experience the full intensity of your own life. So, yeah, absolutely. I totally resonate with you there.
Love the word intensity. And didn't Dolly Parton say you can never be a version of anyone else? Be a version of you. You're here for your life.
Did you say virgin or version?
Version. Yeah, I know.
Version.
Dolly would appreciate that humor right there, wouldn't she?
Yes.
If she's watching, it's the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
And actually, the word virgin literally means hold into yourself.
Yes.
If we go to the origin, it has nothing to do with sex or anything, actually.
Purity.
Right?
The purity.
Yes, we're holding to ourselves no matter what. Thank you for that. And Dr. J, I'm going to call you for a second. I'm going to shorten that just for a second. You're so right, because why don't we want to do the deep work? We're so afraid of our greatness. And the only way we get anything is to go deeper and build a foundation. I mean, how many years have I studied the voice? Madeline, how many years have you studied the voice? You probably still do. Am I right?
Most of my life, I've been studying the voice in my real life and in my performance life as well.
And you're never going to stop, are you? You're going to continue to build that beauty within you.
There's always something coming up, a lesson, a certain thing to which I have to voice out, and certain triggers I have to. So yeah, absolutely.
I think it never ends, because if it
Yeah.
does, we're probably ready for angel wings. Then
That's
we're probably done with this particular incarnation.
Yes.
You know, and I've heard myself also, Dr. JACALYN, I've heard myself gripe, you mean I got to do this again? I got to rebirth myself again. I've got to rebrand myself again. Yes, in order to go deeper, wider, bigger, more magnificent, find that voice. It's the only way I know, only way I've ever gotten any results and really come out of my own shell.
Yes, I totally agree with what you're saying. I do have a question about voice pitch and tonality. I was listening to, we have one of those old answering machines, don't even ask why. And there was a message on there from someone who's not here anymore. And the bottom line was that the voice didn't sound like it did when the person was younger. So as we age, our voice actually changes. And I'm thinking about in the field of acting, for example, or even if you are someone who's looking to start a new career and you maybe don't want to give your age away if that's important. Is there some way we can work on that pitch and tonality so we sound younger or we sound different than we do?
Absolutely, because what happens hormonally, a woman's voice can get lower and a man's will typically go a little higher. So isn't that fascinating? I literally had a client who came to me who's 80 years old, and she said, I want to make sure I don't have an old lady voice. And so we worked with her because she is still contributing massively to the world. I'm thinking she'll live well over 100 years old, and she wanted to apply for a TED Talk. And so what we know is that older women are dismissed in the United States. In other cultures, not so much. But there is a way, if when you do your breath work and you warm up, lip trills and sirens and take care of the voice. And really the number one thing is hydration. So I like room temperature water. But having said that, if the only way you'll drink water is ice cold, okay, I'll give you permission. The hydration of the voice, so it doesn't age our voice, or actually our throat or our body, keeping that breath strong, keeping our motion and exercise, just walking, fast walking every day and deep breathing. It helps to breathe through the nose because you've got the built-in air filter. Our body is beautifully designed. And even if you warm up the voice for 10 to 15 minutes a day in a focused way, and here's a fun technique. You can speak or read into the corner. So when you speak or read into the corner, you get feedback and you can hear yourself better. So you can open your inside, the soft palate, which is here behind the hard palate, so that you have more of an acoustic chamber, or what I call an inner bigness. But you can always keep that voice in shape. And it's interesting, Dr. JACALYN, I heard an actor, I will not name his name to protect the guilty, his voice is aging. He was on a television commercial. That's not the voice I remember. Really interesting.
I think I know who you're speaking of, but we won't say anything.
We will not say anything here. We're polite.
Yes, we are. So as a segue from what you just shared, Dr. Miluna, I'm going to ask Madalene. Madalene has taught me a number of exercises to warm up my voice. Would you say that this is recommended for anyone and everyone who is talking to stay hydrated, not a paid spokesperson for that brand, but also to do the exercises that you mentioned and also the ones, Madalene, that you teach?
Absolutely. It is the same voice. And sometimes people say, well, I'm not here to sing. I said, well, be careful. I might ask you to sing because it's terrifying. It's
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yes.
It's imagine being naked in front of the whole world. That's where you've got to go. It's scary as hell until we can be okay with being seen and heard in that way. But the voice is the same. So in my speaking range, it's lower, right? It's more of a blues in. I think of it as this way. But if I went into my head voice, it's the same. It's just a different spot in my body and my range.
Interesting. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So,
Yeah.
pardon me for interrupting, but we are going to do a more strenuous warm up, Madeline knows, as a singer, because you've got to develop a different type of stamina. But I bet you some of our exercises are the same.
You guys can compare.
Possibly.
Madeline, I'd love for you to just share with our audience, just as an extension of what Dr. Miluna just said. Madeline and I teach a course together called The Power of Listening, and it's using your breath and your voice. And we actually taught a course, and one of the people in the class, we're not going to mention who, she's a dear friend. When it came to her singing, she had to sing. We asked her to sing. She actually started crying because she didn't want to hear her own voice. What do you think about that?
I have witnessed that, and it's heartbreaking. It hurt my heart when you said that. We all felt that. I think that when we're silenced or when trauma happens, I'll give you an example, a case study. There is a woman I know through my spiritual circles, and this is a woman who is over 50 now. I'm not sure of her exact biological age. And she speaks in a very high pitch. It's very soft and very high. And for me, it's painful to listen to. This is not the voice of a woman in her good queen years, which is 45 to 65 or 70, something like that. And what I found out is she was raised by her father, and then he passed. And so what came to me intuitively and just being trained as an intuitive and energy worker is that her voice stopped when her father passed away. So she still had that little daddy love me little girl voice, that people pleasing voice. And she wasn't able to move beyond that into her professional life. And I know it holds her back in her professional life. I know that she doesn't ask for enough money. I know this for a fact. And sometimes I had another woman one time say, but Dr. Miluna, nobody's ever told me it's my voice. Well, sisters and brothers, I'm here to tell you, people won't tell you it's your voice unless it's your voice coach whom you trust, or maybe your spouse has enough love for you to tell you, your voice could use some work. People don't know how to tell you. It's so personal. You're so vulnerable. Maybe your boss doesn't want you to be promoted. There's a million reasons why people will never talk to you about your voice. But those of us in show business learned, I better build the best voice I can. And how else am I going to do this thing? How else am I going to shine? I mean, Lady Gaga still has her voice coach. And people say, well, she's at the best, so she doesn't need one. She's at that level because she continues to study. And that's how you stay there.
Excellent points. In fact, I'm thinking about an artist who's very well known around the world, especially in the 80s. And I'm not saying her name, but one of the songs had to do with a virgin. And that person's voice has changed considerably from when she was performing. So I think, to your point, we all can think of people whose voices sort of trigger us one way or another, but we feel we can't say anything because how are they ever going to change it? So now we're finding out you can change your voice. You can work with a coach, and you can have their experience and their training instilled into what you're doing, your routines, so that you can actually reinvent your voice, so to speak. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yes.
Absolutely. It's it's puzzling to me, why we would develop every other part of our leadership, right? Folks want prosperity and money classes, and we go to business class, and some of us go to spiritual classes and all sorts of things to improve, wine tasting, you name it. I'm a perpetual student. But if there is a huge leadership gap that I see not addressed. If you can't communicate, if you alienate every one of your employees, if you don't know how to pitch for money, if you don't know how to media interview, if you don't know how to lead a board meeting or speak to your investors, how much money and fulfillment and purpose is that costing you? Millions of dollars. Yeah. You cannot influence when you're not expressed, or you're down in your throat, or some horrible thing that those of us with sensibilities and auditory, and both of you, huge active listening, we are feeling that, and it doesn't match or align for us. Something bothers us. What if, I may have said this on one of our other interviews together when you interviewed me, Dr. JACALYN, what if I show up looking good and then I say, hi, I'm Dr. Miluna? What? Wouldn't you wonder what am I missing, and what I'm not in reality world now? What am I? You should not be listening to me.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, you are right.
I need Madalene to help me immediately. I mean, seriously.
I absolutely agree with you, Dr. Miluna, in the way that people pick up vibrations and frequencies in the voice. So therefore, it's almost it's like a second, like subconscious type of thing. They feel the frequency. They feel if it's an upliftment and that you're confident about what you're selling, what you're trying to bring forth or sing and express. And if you're not, they pick it up, so they turn away. It's almost like, oh, I'm not convinced that this is the right thing for me to invest in, or to go for, or to actually follow that artist, because they don't feel confident within themselves.
I love that you said that. We can even think of Dr. Emoto's work, a Japanese scientist. And what they found is we speak words of hate, or let's say we play certain types of music with hate or anti-woman or misogyny or something, and the water turned ugly, I'll say, murky, muddy. And when we play songs of upliftment, or we say love, or we pray over bodies of water, literally, it becomes like a beautiful ice crystal. And since our bodies are mostly water, and I believe we are sound, light, energy, and vibration, as you mentioned, Madalene, how can that be any different? If our bodies are mostly water, would it not be in our best interest to live our biggest, baddest self, badass self, to make sure our voice has that vibration, the ability to change? I can become all soft and mother-like. Such a dynamic and a range, depending on the audience and the stage I'm on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like,
really well said. I do too. Yeah. Dr. Miluna, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I would love to have you read from your book, if you would, for us. That would be great. And just so people can actually go over and take a peek at the book on our break, where can people find your book?
At your favorite local bookstore. I think my links didn't show up in the chat, even though I thought they were live links.
They're here. We have them here, but I didn't want to. We get smaller and smaller. So they're here.
Yeah, they're in the chat. Oh, yeah, they're in the chat.
You can go to Bookshop if you like to support your local bookstore, maybe a local woman-owned bookstore. I love to support my local. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, just type in Uplevel Your Communication. I think it'll pop up even without the full title. Thank you.
Outstanding.
I'm
Thank you
very
so much.
interested. Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break and we're going to actually watch another music video from Madeline Chan, and then we'll be right back. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Here I am, here I go. Watch me now, I'm out of control. Here I am, here I go. Watch me now, I'm out of control. Feel the sweet desire, let the music start to free your soul. Feel the step and fire moving up and down, out of control. Feel the sweet desire, let the music start to free your soul. Feel the step and fire moving up and down and out of control. Feel the sweet desire, let the music start to free your soul. Feel the step and fire moving up and down, out of control. Feel the sweet desire, let the music free your soul.
Hello and welcome back. I almost forgot to come back. I was dancing and singing. I thought, oh, I'm producing the show. I better get up. Okay. So we are here on USA Global TV and radio, and our show is the Film and Music Show. My co-host is Madeline Chan, and we were just watching her beautiful clip. And our guest is Dr. Miluna, and I just went and purchased her book during the break. Okay, there you go. Let's bring back Madeline Chan. Welcome. And
Hey!
Dr. Miluna.
Hey, Dr. Miluna.
Hi.
Hey.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask about you, Dr. Miluna, because I'm looking at the questions here, and I was thinking about, we know about From the Voice, but what I'd like to know is what do people receive from seeing someone in imagery on film?
What do we receive on? Oh,
Yeah.
I think the real purpose of Hollywood, and now the rest of the world as well, for me as an actor, singer, I'm here to touch people, move people, influence people, perhaps sometimes upset people, change their thinking, cause them to be forever changed. So when I'm in the theater, and I still go to the theater, need to get back to that more, because when you're in that concert hall live or that cinema, now we've got the surround sound in our cinemas.
Yeah.
It's the experience of being with other folks, the collective. And when that opening comes and that music swells, there is nothing like it in the world. Nothing.
It's very true.
Wow. That's
Very true.
I've never done acting, so but you've done that, haven't you, Dr. Jacqueline? You took you were starting doing theatre and acting.
I took one acting class yesterday, and I'm actually
How was it?
It was amazing with method acting, and I had a monologue to read, and I was reading it the same way, and I had to get in touch with my emotions and imagine. There was no information on purpose about who the characters were, so I had to imagine it as different characters, and it was a really cool experience. So, but that was it. That was my one acting lesson, and I'm actually doing it to help me with what I'm doing now, not because I'm going to be doing act. I'm not leaving. I can't leave here.
No,
Dr.
we don't
Miluna,
want you to. We don't want you to leave.
Thank you. I'm so excited. Your book is in hardcover, which is fabulous. I love having a nice hardback book. So it'll be coming tomorrow. Yay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I'd love to have you read to us for us. That would be beautiful.
Oh,
Yes, please.
here she is. Whoop, whoop. Up-level your communication. Evolve your presence and speech to change everything. So I think since we're all sassy and rock and roll and musical and acting in full expression today, I will read from the last chapter. Now, of course, I had to call it encore because being from show business. What is your pitch perfect voice and speech? Here's my in-your-face question. Do you want to continue as mediocre man or what happened woman? People, it's time to get off your comfort couch. The leaders we will be looking up to will speak with intelligence and heart, compassion and courage. If you choose to begin to speak differently, it will lead directly to a better quality of life and relationships. I promise you can ask my clients. Mind your words. Your words matter. In the shamanic traditions that have been practiced on our planet for over 100,000 years, your words are indeed magic. Mind your delivery. Your delivery matters. What the world needs now is respectful, inclusive communication, civil debates. We must cultivate an ability to disagree without shaming or dominating others with our opinion. We must disagree without being disagreeable.
Yes.
I'm speechless. I have to get this book. I have to get it now. Absolutely.
Thank
I'm going to
you.
order it. Absolutely.
Thank you.
I just am so happy that you're here and you continue to share new things each time we meet. And I just think what you're doing is outstanding work. So we had a guest on earlier and we were talking about creating a vision board. And so Dr. Miluna, with everything that you've got going on, what would your vision board look like? What have you drawn out in your mind or actually for where you're going in the future? As a result of what you've already accomplished?
Right now, to, as you can imagine, continue to promote the book. And next week, I travel down to Orange County, California for a book signing. And then I've got one here locally in Carmel and one in Salinas. So that is my movement out in the world. And we launched the book on March 22nd. So it still feels very brand new to me. So continue to spread the word. And I want to work with more CEOs and leaders, especially women who are CEOs of companies or their own business, or a professional, a doctor, a lawyer, all of these professions. Because what I feel is women's leadership is typically very different than the male model and the patriarchy that we have out there. Instead of a hierarchy or top down, I'd like us to imagine being in this circle and then everyone is around us that we're influencing. So I also, well, at some point, let me just be real and announce it right here with you.
All right.
I will need to write another one-woman show. When I was on the East Coast, I wrote 2 one-woman cabaret shows. To me, that is the ultimate art form because I wrote it, right? So it's comedy, it's stories. I used history, what I call herstory. My pianist arranger, we wrote a couple of numbers and then we arranged a lot of old jazz classics because that's what I really love. So in my heart, there is either a film role or a TV show. Definitely another cabaret show is in my future because showbiz never leaves our heart. Once we have that, and we, as you mentioned earlier, if we're crying when we sing, boy, is that a message that we need to keep doing it.
Absolutely outstanding. Yeah. Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
This is a wonderful journey. And we're so happy that you've been here today. Thank you so much. And we do have your links up for people to be able to contact you. We are actually running a little behind, so we have to say goodbye for now. But Dr. Miluna, thank you so much. Madalene, thank you so much.
Yeah,
and,
thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll be back right away with our next show, which is The Wise Ones. Thank you, Dr.
Everyone.
Miluna.
What a pleasure.
Thank you, Dr. Miluna. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye. Bye, Dr. JACALYN.